for your Wildcat and Lady Cat station cases. It's D1238M Sulphur Springs, Texas. It's time for Wildcat basketball. Let's go to the high school gym. Tonight's game is called by KSS Sports Director Don Jesuit. Don?
James Terry, thank you very much, and welcome everyone into Wildcats basketball. We're in the main gym here on the campus of Sulphur Springs High School. Non-district game tonight between a Class 6A school out of the Metroplex, Jesuit of Dallas, and the Wildcats of Sulphur Springs, ranked number 17 in Class 5A with a record of 11-5. And the best we could find on Jesuit, I think this came from their Jesuit Rangers site, so probably a pretty good indicator. 4-7 for their season. They've played some rugged teams, Mansfield Timberview, Rockwall Heath, and several other teams of note. And they just finished playing 3 games in Pennsylvania. And they won 1 and lost 2 on the road. So, and now in Sulphur Springs, right before Christmas, this will be the last game before the Christmas break. And we want to thank the Jesuit coach, Chris Hill, for allowing the live streaming of this game tonight. So be available to see back in the Metroplex and all over. And then it'll also be posted to YouTube at the end, Doug's edited version, which only means he cuts out all the commercials and all that. It doesn't mean there's a great deal of content missing. In fact, I would say no content missing unless there's a big lull for some reason or the other. But basically all the content is there that involves the game. So Wildcats in their last action on Tuesday night against Denton Geyer, the number 5 ranked team in Class 6A. And Geyer came away with a win on that, 70-64. First loss on the home court for the Wildcats since back in January 13 of 2017, almost 2 years ago. Mount Pleasant won in this gym. I still remember that night. That was a real good Mount Pleasant team that actually got by the Wildcats for the district championship. But now this is hoping to build a new streak. I know that's the way Clark Cipolletta thinks. And the teams are beginning to head for the bench. We're in the last 30 seconds of warm-up time here, and the coaches will be having their final say before we have the national anthem. Before we have the introduction of players from both teams, and then tip this thing off. So we'll be look like just a few minutes behind schedule. Now here's Corey Hankins asking us all to rise for the national anthem. our national anthem, and now introduction of both the starting lineups.
For tonight's matchup between the Dallas Jesuit Rangers and your Sulphur Springs WildCat! Now the starting lineups first are visitors from Dallas Jesuit. Starting in guard, 6'1" junior, number 33, Gavin Perry. Starting in guard, 6'2" junior, number 11, Camden Roy. Starting in guard, 5'7" junior, number 12, Cal Lynn. Starting at forward, 6'7" senior, number 24, Eli Steger. And starting at forward, 6'7" senior, number 30, Harold Brown. The Rangers are coached by Chris Hill, assisted by Jonathan Alexander, Dan Brennan, Tim Murphy, and Todd Brenner. And now, the starting lineup for your Sulphur Springs WildCat! Starting at forward, 6'7" sophomore, number 1, Justin Hare. Starting at guard, 6'1" junior, number 3, Boo Wilkerson. Starting at guard, 6' senior, number 33, Grayson the Reverend Booker. Starting at forward, 6'7" senior, number 4, Cameron Kyle. And starting at forward, 6'5" senior, number 0, Day Hall. Assisted by Sean Coleman, Joe Garcia, and Austin Fleming.
Well, Corey Hankins with the starting lineups, his usual fashion there, and getting us all ready for this ball game. Once again, for Jesuit of Dallas, the Rangers, Cameron Roy, Cal Lynn, Eli Steger, Gavin Perryman, and Darrell Brown, the big fella, 6'7". Wildcats with Boo Wilkerson, Day Hall, Justin Hare, Cameron Kahn, and Grayson McClure. Day Hall will jump center with Brown of the Rangers. Brown with a couple of inches height advantage. Ball in the air, controlled by Jesuit, slapped almost all the way out of bounds, and here come the Rangers in black. Across the midline against the white-clad Sulphur Springs Wildcats. Ball outside, now Brown has it top of the key. Left side it goes to Perryman. And into the corner to Brown. Brown into the lane, slashes to the bucket and lays it up and in. Darrell Brown hits the first basket of the game. Jesuit 2-0 lead. 7:30 left here in the first quarter. Day Hall outside the arc. Boo Wilkerson top of the key, dribbling the ball to Cameron Kahn, who's now at the top of the key. Looking inside, goes to Day Hall outside the arc. Lobs into the corner, pass to Boo Wilkerson that got away, and turnover on the Wildcats. Back to Jesuit. And here come the Rangers, up 2-0, 7:08 left here in the first quarter. Perryman hands the ball over to Lynn. Comes over to Steger. Here's a left-handed three, is off the iron, no good. Day Hall with a rebound, and he got into a vice as he got squeezed, and they'll pick up a foul, and that will be on Steger, Eli Steger, a 6'4" senior. His first, team's first foul in the game. And here come the Wildcats, 6:50 across the midline, trailing Jesuit 2-0 here in the first quarter. Grayson McClure, the three, that's off, no good. Oh, a skying rebound by Day Hall. Hall will drive into the lane, put up the short shot, left it short. Brown with a rebound, outlet pass, and here comes Jesuit in transition. Thought about the three, that was Lynn. Back to Brown. Brown driving in, laid it up, missed it, but will pick up the foul and will get two shots. And the call goes against Justin Hare, his first. Team's first. So Daryl Brown, senior, shooting free throws. This one on the way is good. I was told Brown and also Perryman, a couple of the players left from last year, they had pretty heavy losses in graduation. Brown, another free throw, got them both. He's got 4 in the game, has all 4 of their points. Jesuit 4, Wildcats 0. 6:22 left here in the first quarter. Boo Wilkerson with the ball from the top of the key. Drives to the left side. Grayson McClure, top of the key, tried to throw it low to Justin Hare and sailed it over his head. Another turnover for the Wildcats as Lamadrick Johnson quickly checks in, replacing Justin Hare. 6:10 left in the first quarter. Jesuit 4, the Wildcats 0. Ball outside to Perryman. Lynn back to Perryman. Here's a 3 on the way. Off, no good, but the rebound comes down to Steger. The ball knocked loose. Jesuit got it back. Brown will pass, and a good pass. He started to shoot and then found Steger open underneath the basket for 2 points, and Jesuit leads 6-0. 5:41 left in the first quarter. Wildcats cold as the weather right now, or as cold as this gym is. Boo Wilkerson down low to Day Hall. Hall drives toward the basket. Kicks it out to Lamadrick Johnson. He's in the lane. A floater is off, no good. Fight for the rebound. Knocked out of bounds by Jesuit. Be back to the Wildcats. 5:20 left in the first quarter. And Jesuit 6, the Wildcats 0. The Wildcats first 2:40. They've gone without a point. Ball lobbed in to Day Hall. Back to Lamadrick Johnson. Boo Wilkerson over to Cameron Kahn. And back to Day Hall. Thought about the 3. Drives to the free throw line. Bounces to Kahn. He storms into the lane. The ball knocked loose. He goes back up with it and put it in the basket. Cameron Kahn, his first bucket. Breaks the ice for the Wildcats. It's 6-2. Jesuit into the lane. Back to Daryl Brown, excuse me. Then the ball knocked out of bounds by the Wildcats. It'll go back to Jesuit. The Lady Cats were doing pretty good in Princeton at halftime. They led 19-16, but they've fallen behind after 3 quarters, 42-27. And here's Jesuit with a layup on another good pass from Brown and put in by Lynn. And Jesuit leads 8-2, 4:44 left here in the first quarter. Jesuit won the freshman and JV games earlier tonight. Lamadrick Johnson over to Cameron Kahn. Into the corner, Boo Wilkerson. And outside, Day Hall. Back to Boo Wilkerson inside Cameron Kahn. He storms to the basket. Made a great move around a player and hit it with a left hand. 4 points, Cameron Kahn. It's an 8-4 ball game. 4:17 left, first quarter. And the ball in the hands of Lynn. Over to Brown. Tried to get it low. Stolen by Day Hall. Hall back down the court. Now slows things down. Lets the traffic go by. Hall still dribbling. Drives into the lane. Kicks. Grayson McClure. The 3 is good for Grayson McClure. And the Wildcats are back to within 8-7. 3:53 left here in the first quarter. Ball in the hands of Lynn. Lynn shoots. No good. Rebound. Day Hall. Hall on the dribble, leads the fast break across the midline. Hall steaming down over into the corner to Wilkerson. Lamadrick Johnson to Hall for the 3. He got it. Boy, Day is beginning to warm up on the 3s. He's hitting 1 or 2 a game now. And he just hit that one, and the Wildcats lead 10-8. 3:21 left, first quarter. Lynn drives in. Lynn playing catch there with Steger. Gets the ball, drives around the arc. Inside it goes Brown, cutting to the basket unguarded. And Daryl Brown with 6 points. And we're tied at 10 with 3:02 left here in the first quarter. Across the midline, Lamadrick Johnson, the point guard for the Wildcats. Right side it goes. Boo Wilkerson down low. Day Hall back to Wilkerson. In he goes. Puts up the shot. Missed it. Fights for the rebound. And kept it alive, but knocked it out of bounds. It'll go back to Jesuit. We're tied at 10. 2:47 left here in the first quarter. Jesuit brings quite a few players in off the bench. See how many of these I can identify. Will Cordell is in there. Also, Connor Moore is in there. I think those are the 2 new ones. The rest of them still in there from the start. Ball over to Cordell. He gets it over to Moore. Moore tried to throw it inside, intercepted Lamadrick Johnson, and then we had a collision down on the court, and they're going to call a block. And it goes against Lamadrick Johnson. Coach Cipolletta complaining about the call, but that will not help. There was a collision, both players moving, and they got Lamadrick for the charge. So his first foul. Jesuit gets it into Brown. Brown puts up a short jump shot off, no good. Fade away. Rebounded by Lamadrick Johnson. He's on the run for the Wildcats. We're tied at 10. 2:16 left, first quarter. Johnson bounce pass. Day Hall, the two-handed stuff. And Day Hall with 5 points. The Wildcats leading 12-10. 2:06 left in the first quarter. Cal Lynn with the ball. Gets it to Darrell Brown. Over in the corner. Here's a three on the way. It's off, no good. Big rebound out to Darrell Brown. He'll shoot the three, and it is good. Boy, Brown is red hot, has 9 points. And Jesuit only has 13. They lead 13-12. 1:42 left here in the first quarter. Justin Hare's back in the ballgame. Gets to Lamadrick Johnson. Johnson starts in. The ball knocked loose. Johnson goes and picks it up. Gets it over Day Hall. Hall slashing toward the basket. Gets it over to Hare. Out to Lamadrick for a three. Good by Lamadrick Johnson. Not necessarily a real good three-point shooter, but he put that one right in there. And Jesuit back down quickly. Here's a pass tip and goes out of bounds. Last touch by Dallas Jesuit. It'll go back to the Wildcats. As Justin Brock checks in for the Wildcats, replacing Grayson McClure. So Brock will throw the ball in. Lamadrick Johnson in there with Justin Hare, Day Hall, and Boo Wilkerson. Lamadrick across the midline. Wildcats up 15-13. 1:06 left to play, first quarter. Ball over to Boo Wilkerson. Tightly covered. He goes around a screen. Over into the right corner. Justin Hare kicks it back to Day Hall. Hall thinks about the three. He's being guarded by Darrell Brown. Gets it over to Lamadrick Johnson. Johnson slashes into the lane. Tries to get it into Day Hall, who's tipping it to keep it alive. And then Justin Hare comes up with it. A three by Brock. Off, no good. Ball tapped into the corner, controlled by Jesuit. And the ball in the hands of Jesuit as they bring the ball down. This is Moore. And Moore passes out to Cordell. No, that's a new player in there. That's Simons. Here's a steal by the Wildcats. Lamadrick Johnson down to Justin Hare. Hare went to the basket. He was fouled as he tried to put up a shot. Missed the shot, but will shoot two. And the foul, I believe, is going to be on Luke Lucido, who's now in. So Jesuit is just about a completely new team here of Simons, Lucido, and also Moore. Brown is still in there. Free throw by Justin Hare is good. See if I can figure out who the fifth player is. I think that was one of the starters. Having a hard time seeing him through Justin Hare. Here's Hare's free throw. He got them both, 2 for 2. And Cordell, I guess, that fifth player. Jesuit across the midline. They get it down low. The ball stripped loose. The Wildcats a steal. They'll run. Here's a shot at the buzzer. No good. Lamadrick Johnson, aware that the clock was on their back, took the long shot. It came up just short. And the Wildcats will lead after one period of play, 17-13. And let's take a break, and we'll be back with the start of the second quarter right after this. Well, into quarter number one, the Wildcats 17 and Dallas Jesuit 13. The Metroplex school led by Darrell Brown had 9 points, got 2 from Steger and 2 from Lynn. But the Wildcats had 5 from Day Hall, 4 from Cameron Kahn, 3 by Grayson McClure, 3 by Lamadrick Johnson, and 2 for Justin Hare. Wildcats 17, Dallas Jesuit 13, the Rangers. Well, it's been quite a week to have these prestigious schools in the Sulphur Springs gym. Had Denton Geyer on Tuesday night and Dallas Jesuit here on Friday night. And, of course, last year visited both of those gyms during the same week. That was tough. Lamodrick Johnson outside, top of the key to Cameron Kahn. The Wildcats start with the ball over to Boo Wilkerson outside the arc, directing some traffic, now looking toward Clark Cipolletta. Back over to Lamodrick Johnson. Whistles it down toward Cameron Kahn as he was cutting in. The pass went out. And so a turnover on the Wildcats, back to Dallas Jesuit, as bringing it across the midline is Cordell. And now here's a player driving in, tried to stuff, missed it, but the follow shot misses. On the rebound, Boo Wilkerson. Wilkerson across the midline for the Wildcats, toward the basket. Put up the shot, short, no good. Rebound, Dallas Jesuit. And a rebounding foul is going to be on somebody from Dallas Jesuit. And again, the hand signal's going across to the other side of the gym, so not sure who that foul was on. Out to Boo Wilkerson. Pass over to Lamodrick Johnson. Johnson drives into the lane. Right side to Boo Wilkerson. Outside the arc, started in, headed out. Now over to Brock and back to Wilkerson inside Day-Day Hall. Hall lets the traffic go by. Backing toward the basket. Put it up with a left hand. He scooped it in and got fouled. Foul is going to be on Connor Moore. And Day-Day put it in with a left hand, just scooped it right up, went right in the basket. 7 points for Day-Day. And shooting one to try to complete the free throw, the three-point play the old-fashioned way. And Connor Moore will check out. Checking back in now is Eli Steger. Wildcats leading 19-13, just under 7 to play here in the second quarter. Day-Day's free throw good. He's got 8 points. Wildcats lead 20-13. 6:53 left here in the second quarter. Ball in the hands of Steger. The pass tip, but Jesuit hangs on to it. Cordell gets it back outside. Drives in. Now kicks it back over to Steger into the corner. Down low it goes, driving in. Blocked by the Wildcats, but picked up by Jesuit back into the corner. And they get it back outside the arc. Wildcats with some real gambling, double-teaming defense. Ball goes underneath. Here's a three by Jesuit. In and out, no good. Fight for the rebound, and Cameron Kahn chases it down in the corner. Here come the Wildcats over to Lamodrick Johnson. Just over 6 to play. Wildcats lead 20-13. Cameron Kahn toward the basket, and a blocking foul on Dallas Jesuit. And the foul is on, I believe, on Lucido. If that's correct, that's his second. This is a non-shooting foul, so although 5 fouls on Dallas Jesuit, just 2 on the Wildcats. Brock to trigger in, gets it in, Cameron Kahn. He'll shoot the long three. That's off, no good. Rebound to Cameron, and then he lost it on the floor, went out of bounds. The officials say, they talk to each other and say, last touch by the Wildcats. It'll go back to Jesuit. It's one of those, what did you see, what did you see? And then they say, okay, let's say this way. So that one out of bounds off the Wildcats. Again, the Wildcats double teaming the ball knocked loose. It'll be back to Jesuit. They double teamed Gavin Perryman, but they knocked it out of bounds. So triggering in for Jesuit will now be Reed Lynch. So Lynch to throw in for Jesuit. Lynch is a 6'2" junior. And he triggers the ball into T. Monk Simons. Over to Steger. Now here's driving in the lane, scooping it up, missing it. Fight for the rebound. Last touch, Jesuit. The Wildcats lead 20-13. 5:37 left here in the second quarter. Ball in the hands of Justin Brock, and he'll bring it up across the midline in no particular hurry here. 5:30 left in the second quarter. Brock over to Grayson McClure outside the arc. I bet they'll watch him like a hawk. Over to Day Hall. Hall gives over to Brock. Brock driving in, and he's called for traveling before he passed, and so back to Jesuit on the turnover. 5:15 left in the second quarter as Darrell Brown will check back in. He's got some bright shoes tonight. Kind of a hot pink look. Not particularly red, but not pink either. That's a very shine in the dark pink there. Across the midline for Jesuit. They give it to Brown. Cross-court pass is thrown away. They tried to get it over to Cordell. Will Cordell, a junior. And the Wildcats toss it in. Grayson McClure gets it into Brock. 5:02 left in the second quarter. Wildcats 20 and Jesuit 13. Second quarter. Brock driving around the arc. Gets it down to Day Hall. Over to Boo Wilkerson. He's being guarded by Brown. Throws it into Cameron Kahn. Puts up the shot and hit it. Cameron Kahn along the baseline, just forcing his way up. And timeout taken by Chris Hill of the Rangers of Jesuit of Dallas. 4:40 left in the second quarter. The Wildcats 22, Jesuit 13. We'll take a break here. Back in a moment. Well, a weird game for the Lady Cats tonight in Princeton. They led at the half, 19-16, had a terrible third quarter. The third quarter Blues again. They were down 42-27. They stormed back and come up just short, losing to Princeton 47-42. And that's the final from Princeton. Wow, what an unusual game for the Lady Cats against a really good Princeton team tonight. We're back to action here, and Dallas Jesuit gets it into Brown. Brown puts up the short jumper, missed it, and Cameron Kahn had it. It was knocked out of his hands. Brown follows, no good, follows again, and got it. Boy, pounding the offensive glass by Brown. He's got 11 points out of 15 for Jesuit. Wildcats lead 22-15. 4:13 left here in the second quarter. Brock toward the baseline. Grayson McClure left open for three. He got it. Boy, you don't want to do that. Grayson McClure is in 10 threes in a game against Ennis this year. Now Jesuit back, puts up the shot, no good. Rebounded by Day Hall. Over to Brock. Wildcats lead 25-15. 3:50 left in the second quarter. Day Hall over to Boo Wilkerson. Top of the key, Cameron Kahn. Day Hall, top of the key. Over to Brock. Cameron Kahn into the lane. Kicks it over. Brock will shoot the three. In and out. No good. Rebound. Kahn. Follow shot. Good by Cameron Kahn, who has 8. He's having a good game. Wildcats by 12. 27-15. 3:24 left. Second quarter. Ball in the hands of Simons. Simons into the lane. Scooping it up. Oh, what a nice play by T. Monk Simons. And that makes it a 10-point game at 27-17, 3:05 left to go. Simon's 5'8", but he just fearlessly went into that lane and put it in. Here's a bad pass, a steal, and Jesuit back down quickly, and then the player traveled and kind of lost his footing, almost slipping or something. Better make sure he didn't pull anything. He's coming up kind of gingerly there. As that was an unusual play by Perryman. He just tried to put on the brakes, and he kind of scooped the ball toward the basket. And they said he traveled before the shot. And something happened to him. He now hits the bench. So hopefully if he's got aches or pains, I think Coach Hill is now checking with his player. He appears to, he's not getting any other attention, so he must be okay. Here come the Wildcats up 27-17, 2:42 left in the second quarter. Wilkerson outside the arc. And playing catch with Lamadrick Johnson, the point guard. The Wildcats kind of slowing things down a little bit. Oh, a pass tipped and stolen by a Jesuit. Brown across the midline. Brown continues to dribble, almost stolen from him. And he had a player along the baseline and a bad pass, a throwaway. They tried to get it into... That was intended for Camden Roy, who's now in the ball game. Turnover on Jesuit. Wildcats leading 27-17. 2:13 left in the second quarter. LaModrick Johnson over to Boo Wilkerson. They play catch outside the arc on the left. Now to Grayson McClure into the corner. Boo will shoot the three. That's off, no good. It comes down to Day Hall. Hall's double team. He goes through a couple, sends it over to Wilkerson. He slashes to the bucket. Short floater is good. And count the two and a blocking foul on Jesuit. It may be on Brown. Yes, it's on Darrell Brown. He came up off the floor. He was not happy with that call. Obviously probably thought there was a charge involved. That's usually that block charge that half of the gym's going to be mad at you no matter what the call is. Wilkerson makes the bucket, his first of the game. He'll have a chance for a three-point play as Justin Hare is now called into duty to try to work that device that gets the moisture off the floor, and he looked like a novice. Not sure Justin has had much training in that. Now they're going to go to the old towel method, and Grayson McClure gets down there on the floor, doing a serious job there. Nice job, Grayson. Wildcats 29, Jesuit 17. 1:52 left here in the second quarter, and Boo Wilkerson, 6'1" junior, shooting a foul shot here. Wilkerson's free throw good. He has 3 points. Wildcats leading 30-17. 1:50 left here in the second quarter. Across the midline, Simons gets it over to down into Brown, and Brown hit the shot off the glass. It went through Steger first. That's the name I was searching for. Wildcats back down court quickly. They lead 30-19. 1:30 left here in the second quarter. LaModrick Johnson directing traffic, gives it over to Grayson McClure, back to Johnson. Right side, Day Hall, back to LaModrick, and to Day Hall, back to LaModrick Johnson. He's at the top of the key. Grayson McClure, the long three, that's off, no good. The rebound comes down to, I believe that's, it's over to T-Monk Simons. Here's a three, partially blocked by the Wildcats, comes down to Day Hall. Long pass to Boo Wilkerson. Tipped away from him. He made sure he didn't go after it, so it was clear that it was last tipped by the Rangers. And checking out now is Lynn or Jesuit. Ball comes into Day Hall. Hall backing out behind the arc all the way to the top of the key, and Brown chasing him all the way out there. That ought to open the inside, you would think. Brown continues to dribble. Of course, they've got Steger in there watching that lane. Another player as well. Day Hall in the dribble over to Grayson McClure. Just 32 seconds left here in the second quarter. Wildcats up 30-19. As they're definitely putting a little delay into this one. LaModrick Johnson, he slipped and fell and got it back and threw it over to Justin Hare, and then he got fouled in a scramble for the ball. Clark Cipolletta called timeout during that scramble for the ball, so the Wildcats will keep the ball. 19.3 seconds left in the second quarter. Wildcats 30 and Jesuit 19. We'll take the break with them. Back in a moment. And both teams making their way back onto the court here for the last 19.3 in the second quarter. The Wildcats leading 30-19. And the Wildcats kept the ball with that timeout. Boo Wilkerson to trigger in, gets it into LaModrick Johnson. So here are the last seconds now. Double team LaModrick. The ball knocked loose and stolen by Jesuit. Brown brings it across the midline. 10 seconds left in the second quarter. The ball around the arc. Here's a long range shot. No good. Comes down to LaModrick Johnson. The ball again knocked to the floor. That'll count if it goes. He just missed a banker from midcourt. But we've played the first half, and the Wildcats of Sulphur Springs are ahead of the Jesuit of Dallas by the score of 30-19. In that second quarter, Jesuit had 6, and the Wildcats had 13. After the Wildcats had outscored them 17-13 in the first quarter. So that all adds up to 30-19 at the half. So we'll go ahead and take our halftime break. We're gonna. The cheerleaders are gonna put on a display here for our crowd at halftime. So while they do that, we'll go ahead and take our halftime break, and we'll come back and tell you who scored what here in the first half. The Wildcats 30 and Dallas Jesuit 19. Back in a moment. Teams are back from the locker rooms, and they're at the bench areas. We've got just 12 more seconds left on the halftime clock, so that'll be buzzing that away, and we'll be getting this second half underway very shortly here in this non-district game between the Wildcats of Sulphur Springs, the Rangers of Jesuit of Dallas. For the Wildcats, once again, Cameron Kahn, Day-Day Hall, Boo Wilkerson, Justin Hare, and Grayson McClure, the starting five. And for Jesuit, I see Gavin Perryman, also Cal Lynn, Darrell Brown, and also Eli Steger, and also out there is Camden Roy. Here comes Princeton, or excuse me, not Princeton. Now the ball's kicked into the backcourt. That'll be a over and back violation as it went off the player's foot and scooted into the backcourt for Jesuit. I'm talking about Princeton so much, and I just transported them into the gym temporarily. Wildcats will be at Princeton. I think that's about a couple of weeks. Wildcats with the ball now, and the ball over to Day-Day Hall, top of the key, right side Boo Wilkerson. And over to Grayson McClure. Left side Day-Day Hall. The Wildcats playing catch outside the arc. Grayson McClure, free throw line. Cameron Kahn, he got it down low to Justin Hare. He went up to try to shoot the shot, and the ball got loose. Here's a three by Jesuit, off no good, but they get the rebound. It's put up by Perryman, miss it, no good, and Justin Hare with a rebound. He brings it down, now gets it back to Cameron Kahn, over to Day-Day Hall. The big fella's bringing it down for the Wildcats. Kahn has it over to McClure. Day-Day Hall and right side to Boo Wilkerson. Cross court pass to Day-Day Hall. Grayson McClure, they're well outside the arc. Boo Wilkerson got it to Cameron Kahn down low toward Justin Hare. They're trying to get Hare isolated, breaking off screens and stuff toward the basket. That time he was pretty well guarded. That first time he looked like if he could have held onto the ball, he might could have done something with it. Here's a pass in, Grayson McClure. Now he dribbles out and over to Day-Day Hall. 6:44 left in the third quarter. Wildcats leading 30-19, and this has all the looks of kind of taking some air out here. Round the screen over to Wilkerson into the corner. McClure for three. Good by Grayson McClure. He's got 9 points, 3 threes. And here comes the Rangers down 33-19. 6:22 left here in the third quarter. Ball in the hands of Steger and knocked out of bounds by the Wildcats as it came over to Lynn, Cal Lynn. So Steger will now throw the ball in for the Rangers. And he passes in to Gavin Perryman. Perryman's double teamed. He gets it to Steger. Cross court, it comes open for a three. It's on the way and good. Almost came out of there. Three for Camden Roy. And that makes it an 11-point game again at 33-22. 6 minutes left here in the third quarter. Here's a long pass underneath toward Cameron Kahn with the left hand, no good. He scraps for the rebound and then knocked it out of bounds, fighting for the rebound. They jumped all over Boo Wilkerson when he crossed the midline, but the ball ended up getting fired down low toward Cameron Kahn, but he could not complete the basket. So back to Jesuit now. Wildcats, 5:50 left in the third quarter, leading 33-22. Perryman with the ball. Gives it over to Steger. Down into Brown. Brown turns and shoots and got it over Day-Day Hall. Good touch around the basket by Brown, has 15 points. 33-24, 9-point Wildcat lead, 5:30 left here in the third quarter. Lamadrick Johnson, the point guard, goes around the screen, gets it over to Wilkerson, down low to Kahn. Kahn let the traffic go by, went up for a shot. Brown blocked the shot, but they called the foul on Darrell Brown. That'll be his second. And should send Cameron Kahn to the free throw line. for the Wildcats. Kahn has not been to the free throw line tonight. Has 8 points on 4 baskets. Free throw on the way, good. Another one coming for Cameron Kahn. Can restore the lead to where it was at halftime, 11 points, with a made free throw here. Kahn's free throw on the way is good. Nice form on those. 10 points, Cameron Kahn. Wildcats leading 35-24. 5:16 left, count the clock counting here in the third quarter. Perryman with the ball. Over to Steger. Brown at the free throw line. Brown backing in, scoops it up. Oh, it rimmed out, no good. Went right in and came out. Day Hall with a rebound. He's being chased by Brown in the backcourt. Day passes over to Cameron Kahn. Outside Lamadrick Johnson into the lane. Over to Cameron Kahn. Left open, and he did not stuff it. He banked it off the glass. Played it safely and got the basket. 12 points, Cameron Kahn. The Wildcats leading 37-24. 4:42 left in the third quarter as the Wildcats are double teaming the ball, and the Rangers threw it away. In fact, somebody may have opened the door just the right side. The ball left the building, and somebody had to go into the cafeteria to retrieve it. But we have a timeout called. Wildcats 37, Jesuit 24. 4:27 left in the third quarter, and we'll take the break with them, and we'll be back in a moment. And Jesuit back. The Wildcats now getting honked out of that huddle, but a few last words there by Clark Cipolletta. Wildcats 37, Jesuit 24. 4:37 left in the third quarter. Wildcats ball not facing pressure. We'll have to see what happens when they cross midcourt. Yes, and 2 of them jump on Lamadrick Johnson. Down to Justin Hare, over to Grayson McClure. And he gets it back to Lamadrick Johnson. So they're attacking with 2 men after they cross midcourt. Now they've fallen back into the regular defense. Boo Wilkerson, right side, Lamadrick Johnson. Gives it Day Hall, free throw line. Long three, Grayson McClure. Follow shot, Lamadrick Johnson is good. Lamadrick with 5 points. The Wildcats leading 39-24. 4:02 left here in the third quarter. Perryman with the ball. Pass comes over to Lynn. That was Roy. Here's a pass toward the baseline. And now they kick it into the lane, and here's a three by Steger, and good. Steger, the left-handed three, is good. He's got 5 points. That's his first three. And 3:39 left here in the third quarter. Wildcats leading 39-27. Boo Wilkerson gets it down to Day Hall. Hall into the lane, kicks it back. McClure with the three. That one's going to be off, no good. Rebound Steger. Here's the outlet pass. Here comes Jesuit. Pass into the corner. Give it to Brown. Brown guarded by Justin Hare. He scoops it up, and he hit it. Boy, what a beautiful move by Darryl Brown, who has 17 points. Out of 29 for Jesuit. 3:05 left in the third quarter. Wildcats by 10, 39-29. Ball down to Day Hall. He's guarded by Brown. Day backing in. Kicks it to McClure. Now he'll back out over to Boo Wilkerson. Grayson's missed a couple. He didn't want to shoot that one. Back to Day Hall. Over to Lamadrick Johnson. He's got a big mismatch over there. Goes around a hair screen. Now gets it to Wilkerson into Hall. His shot in the lane, no good. Came right back to Hall. He bumped in, put up the shot, hit it off the glass. And boy, there was a big bump between Brown and Day. And then Day put up the shot. The shot counted. And the foul went against Brown, which is his third. Oh, Hall got the bucket. He's got 10 points. And will get a free throw to boot. Again, that 50-50 call. Block charge. Big collision like that between players. Day Hall free throw is out of there. No good. And a rebound to Perryman. And here comes Jesuit trailing 42-29. 2:26 left in the third quarter. Perryman working against Boo Wilkerson. Drives into the lane, puts up the shot. It's off, no good. Good rebound, Justin Hare. He gives it to LaModrick Johnson. 2:14 left in the third quarter, into the corner to Brock. Outside LaModrick Johnson. Wildcats leading 41-29. LaModrick over to Brock. And top of the key, Wilkerson over to LaModrick Johnson. Free throw line, Day Hall. Hall into the lane, puts it up the left hand, no good. Follow shot, Hare, no good. And it comes down to Steger. And Jesuit runs, they'll shoot a three. It's off, no good. Rebound, Day Hall. Hall across the midline. Letting players go by. Over to LaModrick Johnson. He's to the baseline, back to Hall. And Hall had a hard time getting control of the ball, and I think they'll call a travel. So it'll go back to Jesuit. 12-point Wildcat lead, 41-29, 1:36 left here in the third quarter. Steger checks out. And now in is Reed Lynch. And Lynch works it into Simons. So Simons and Lynch with Brown and Perryman. And now as Simons drives, the ball went off of him and out of bounds as he was dribbling. So under some pressure. So back to the Wildcats. 1:29 left, third quarter. Wildcats leading 41-29. Ball in the hands of point guard LaModrick Johnson. He's directing traffic over to Brock. Brock back to Johnson. And free throw line, Brock tried to get it low to Hare and went out of bounds off Hare, and it'll go back to Jesuit. 1:14 left in the third quarter. Wildcats 41 and Jesuit 29. Simons across the midline, gets it to Brown. Brown double team. Player driving in, back outside, and an offensive foul is called on Jesuit. And I believe that was on Lynch. And now checking in for Jesuit will be Connor Moore, the 6'5" junior. He'll check in for Brown. Wildcats leading 41-29. We're in the last minute of the third quarter. And the Wildcats playing catch outside the arc with Boo Wilkerson and Johnson. Now inside the lane to Brock. Down low, Cameron Kahn with the left hand is good by Cameron Kahn. And Kahn with 14 points. The Wildcats up 43-29. Just 36 seconds left here in the third quarter. Here's a player, Lynch, driving in, and Justin Hare blocked it out of bounds. Our security officer over there by the door fielded that one. This was blocked out of bounds by Justin Hare. Perryman to throw in for Jesuit. Comes in to Connor Moore. Just inside the arc by Perryman, no good, into the corner. Brock with a rebound, gives it to Cameron Kahn, over to LaModrick Johnson. 19 seconds left here in the third quarter. Wildcats lead 43-29. LaModrick near midcourt. Now works it over to Brock. 7 seconds. Brock gets it back to LaModrick. 3 seconds. He'll have to shoot a long three. Good! Oh, my! He drained it from about 35 feet. Nothing but net for LaModrick Johnson. I've said once before that's not really his game, but he's had a couple of them tonight. LaModrick Johnson with 8 points and hits the buzzer beater there right before the end of the third quarter. Wildcats 46 and Jesuit 29 after 3. We'll take the break here, come back with the start of the fourth quarter right after this. In the third quarter, the Wildcats outscored Jesuit 16-10. Of course, part of that 6 points, that three-pointer, that buzzer beater right at the horn there by LaModrick Johnson. So 46-29, and the Wildcats will have the ball to start the fourth quarter. And Boo Wilkerson will trigger in to Justin Brock, LaModrick Johnson, Justin Hare, and Cameron Kahn. The quintet for the Wildcats. LaModrick Johnson gives it to Boo Wilkerson. Tried to get it low to Cameron Kahn. They had 3 players chasing Johnson at one time. tried to get it down low to Cameron Kahn. It was knocked out of bounds. You'd think the Wildcats would get something around the basket with all those players chasing the ball. And then LaModrick Johnson tried to bounce it in off of one of Jesuit's players. The ball got loose and picked up Perryman. Here's a three by Jesuit. It's good. And that one was made by T. Monk Simons, who has 5 points. 46-32, 7:35 left here in the fourth quarter. Boo Wilkerson with the ball. Gives it to Justin Hare. Hare into the lane, bounces to Brock. Brock puts up the shot and hit it. Justin Brock with a short jumper. His first two, and the Wildcats lead 48-32 by 16 points. 7:16 left here in the fourth quarter. Moore passes over to Simons. Back to Perryman. He'll shoot the long three. Oh, it's right on line. You could tell that was going right in from the get-go. That's a first basket for Perryman. 48-35 as they begin pressing the ball across midcourt. The Wildcats maintain possession. Over to LaModrick Johnson, over to Boo Wilkerson, into the corner to Brock. Justin Hare puts up the short shot, got it. Beautiful move by Justin Hare. He's got 4 points, and the Wildcats lead 50-35. 6:32 left in the fourth quarter. And Jesuit with the ball in the hands of Portal. Portal gets it over to Lynch. He slips and falls, and then timeout quickly taken by Chris Hill to keep his player out of trouble there. So they will maintain the ball, and we have a timeout here. Wildcats leading 50-35. 6:21 left here in the fourth quarter. We'll take the break with them, and we'll be back in a moment. Wildcats 50 and Jesuit of Dallas 35. We play here in the fourth quarter. 6:21 left in the quarter. Ball in the hands of the Rangers as Brown is returned, and he will inbound to T. Monk Simons, who now has the ball, working against Boo Wilkerson. He's double teamed. Tried to get it over to Steger, almost stolen. Over to Perryman, down to Brown. Brown had it stripped away, and then a foul's going to be called. They'll say 2 shots. It's on Day Hall, picked up the foul. That's the first one I show on Hall. Brown to shoot free throws. He's 2 for 2 from the line, and he got that one. He has had a very good night with 18 points. Checking out now Cordell. And now returning is Roy. Brown with another free throw. He got him. He's 4 for 4 tonight. 19 points. Wildcats leading 50-37. 6:06 left here in the fourth quarter. A steal for Jesuit down to Perryman. He lays it up and in. The Wildcats victimized by the press. And timeout taken for the Wildcats after that steal on the press. Wildcats leading 50-39, and we'll take the break and be back with them right after this. And the Wildcats have the ball now, and Justin Brock over to Boo Wilkerson, and he goes across the midline to Day Hall. Over to Wilkerson in the corner. Here's a three. Grayson McClure, that's off. Rebound Justin Hare for the Wildcats, and he got fouled by T. Monk Simons. The first one I show for him. And the ball passed in and stolen again by Jesuit. Driving down is Roy. The layup is good. Wildcats beginning to get careless with the ball. It's a 9-point game now at 50-41 with 5:30 left here in the fourth quarter. Ball over to Boo Wilkerson. Over to Brock. They're double teaming the ball. Brock drove through it. Got it to Day Hall. Right side, Grayson McClure. And back outside to Brock to Wilkerson. Quickly passing around the horn. Gives it to Hare. Outside to Wilkerson to Day Hall. Hall driving out to Brock. Oh, he threw the ball with one hand, and they're going to say, though, that Jesuit got a piece of that and knocked it out of bounds. So that's not necessarily Brock's fault there. Wildcats maintain possession. They lead 50-41. 5:03 left in the fourth quarter. Wilkerson has it. He's double teamed. Grayson McClure open underneath the basket, but after he caught the ball, he would have had his shot blocked probably, so the Wildcats send it back outside. Lamadrick Johnson, who's now double teamed, gets it to Day Hall. Hall being closely guarded, fiercely guarded there. Fouled a couple of times perhaps. Down to Cameron Kahn, and Cameron Kahn called for a double dribble as he was moving toward the basket. So another turnover on the Wildcats. And boy, here comes Jesuit as the Wildcats beginning to unravel a little bit here in the fourth quarter. They're having a hard time against this kamikaze defense of Jesuit. It's been fierce. Perryman with the ball. Gets it over to Simons. Steiger down to Brown. Brown turns and shoots. No good. The fight for the rebound. Grayson McClure pulled it away. And I think they either got a foul or, yes, they're going to call a foul. And it's going to be on Steger. That's his second. Grayson McClure kept fighting with that ball to keep him from being tied up. As the crowd begins to roar here. I think they were reacting maybe to Brown fouling out. Wildcats working in the backcourt now. 4:15 left in the fourth quarter. Day Hall got clobbered down to Cameron Kahn. He missed the shot, but got fouled, and he'll shoot two. That foul was on Roy, Camden Roy. So some of those fouls I gave to others must have gone to Brown. I think he just fouled out. That was the reason the crowd reacted. Cameron Kahn shooting some free throws. He's 2 for 2. This free throw in the way, good. $15 points for Kahn. As Cameron eyes the bucket. Free throw on the way, good. Kahn with 16 points. Wildcats leading 52-41. 4:07 left here in the fourth quarter. Simons with the ball. Passes over to Steger. Here's a three by Roy. This one is off, no good. Good rebound, Lamadrick Johnson almost had it stripped. And now it is. No, it's not stripped. Here's a long pass to Boo Wilkerson down to Cameron Kahn. He missed the layup, but he got fouled by Steger. And Kahn will go back to the free throw line. So Kahn with a couple more free throws here, and he missed the first one. That's the first one he's missed. He's 4 for 4. Have another one coming here. Kahn eyes the bucket. Free throw on the way. He got this one. 17 points for Cameron Kahn. The Wildcats lead 53-41. And 3:44 left in the ball game. Simons gives the ball to Lynch and back to Simons. Simons driving in, puts up the shot and got it. Boy, he loves to go into the land of the trees. He's done that before. And lays it up and in. He's got 7 points. Wildcats get it across the midline. Day Hall against a much smaller player. It's back to Day. Day into the lane over to Grayson McClure. Back to Day Hall. Down to Cameron Kahn. He lays it up and in. He was wide open underneath the basket as mismatches with Jesuit trying to steal the ball. 3:05 left in the game. The Wildcats by 12. 55-43. Perryman. Pass toward Lynch. Almost out of bounds. Lynch just got to it. Threw it inside. It was knocked clean. And Lamadrick Johnson doing a lot of spinorama in there, but ended up the ball going out of bounds off of him. And back to Jesuit underneath their own basket, trailing 55-43, 2:52. Brown did not foul out, by the way. He has returned to the game. So I'm not sure. Maybe he just taking him out got the crowd excited. Perryman drives in, hit the bucket on a good driving layup and picked up the foul. I think Cameron Kahn got the foul. So Perryman to shoot free throws. He's had 7 points in the second half after being scoreless in the first half. Chance to trim the lead to 11. He got the free throw. Again, 8 points. And now they're going to call, I think, a foul on Day Hall for some reason. So Day picked up a foul. And the ball will go back to Jesuit. They trail by 11, 55-44. Now a timeout taken, Clark Cipolletta. 2:50 left in the fourth quarter. Wildcats 55 and Jesuit 44. And we'll take the break here and we'll be back in a moment. Wildcats leading by 9, 55-46, but they had some kind of foul on the free throw against the Wildcats. So Simons, plural, Simons will throw the ball in for the Rangers. He lobs to Brown. Brown underneath. Perryman drives and puts it in. Boy, he's had a big quarter. At 7 points, 10 in the game. And Jesuit back to within 7 here with 2:40 left in the fourth quarter as they keep coming back. They double team Boo Wilkerson. He got it over to LaModrick Johnson. And then a foul trying to sweep the ball from behind like you see people try. And a lot of times that will get called. That's 4 fouls that I show on Steger. That is foul number 8. So it should be 1+1 for LaModrick Johnson. They sent Grayson McClure stepped to the line. He's got a big smile on his face. He was trying to steal those free throws. And LaModrick Johnson will shoot free throws. 1+1, so we have to earn the second one. Got the first one. Good shooting night. One of my headphones cutting out. It's not happening on the air, but I'm having a terrible time hearing in my ears with this cutting out. The free throw is good. LaModrick with another one coming. This one is good. Got them both. 10 points. Wildcats by 9, 57-48. 2:27 left here in the fourth quarter. Perryman with the ball. He got bumped pretty hard, and then as he was calling timeout, Boo Wilkerson was trying to slap that ball away. I'll give Perryman credit, though. He maintained his cool. He did not react in a way that could have caused some more chippiness, but just gave that ball to the official and walked to the huddle. We have a timeout here. Wildcats 57 and Jesuit 48. Let's take a break and we'll be back in a moment. 2:21 left in the fourth quarter. The Wildcats leading 57-48. And Camden Roy now throwing the ball in. I'm going to try not to move my head too much. These headphones are having trouble tonight. Ball in the hands of Perryman. 2:15 left here in the fourth quarter. Brown into the lane and lost control of the ball. They say last touch by the Wildcats. So Jesuit will throw in underneath their own basket. Perryman to throw in for Jesuit. They trail by 9, 2:09 left in the fourth quarter. And he lobs the ball to Brown. Brown lost the ball, picked up by Cameron Kahn. And over to LaModrick Johnson. 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Wildcats by 9. They get it to Day Hall. He gets it to Johnson. Johnson found Kahn underneath. It's knocked away from him. And here comes Perryman. Boy, this gambling defense working for the Rangers. Here's an open Roy. Now he drives in. A floater is good by Camden Roy. He's had a big quarter with 7 points. Wildcats by 7, 57-50, 1:34 left here in the fourth quarter. LaModrick Johnson double teamed, and now a timeout taken by Clark Cipolletta, who is beginning to sense a 10-second call without getting it across midcourt. 1:30 left here in the fourth quarter. Wildcats 57 and Jesuit 50. We'll take the break with them. We'll be back in a moment. Wildcats 57, Jesuit 50. And 1:30 left to play here in the fourth quarter. The Wildcats have the ball, and now Jesuit's going to press all over the court. The full court press. Ball thrown into Day Hall. He's being chased by Brown. Day steaming toward the basket to Cameron Kahn. He heads to the basket and laid it up and in. Big quarter for Cameron Kahn. The Wildcats leading 59-50, 1:22 left here in the fourth quarter. Perryman, a man in the corner, wide open, the three, short, no good. Big rebound and then knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Wildcats. Go back to the Rangers. 1:14 left in the fourth quarter. Wildcats 59-50. Comes into Perryman. Gavin Perryman had a big quarter. Is it to Darrell Brown? Back to Perryman. He'll shoot the long three. That one's off, no good. Day Hall with the rebound and then had a player right in his face trying to get that ball back, and Roy picked up the foul. It's been that kind of defense for Jesuit in the fourth quarter, and it's been the key to their success as they have really pried that ball loose. At that time, they got called for the backcourt foul. They've had 9 fouls in the quarter, or in the last 2 quarters, 3 for the Wildcats. And Day Hall to shoot 1+1 here. Hall is 1 for 1 from the free throw line. He got that one. Day with 11 points. Day eyes the bucket. And the free throw got them both. Wildcats 61, Jesuit 50. 1 minute left here in the fourth quarter. Gavin Perryman gives the ball to Simons on to Brown. And Brown is going to be called for an offensive foul on Cameron Kahn. Brown cannot believe that call. And that's the 10th foul. And now the scoreboard has gone bonkers. The scoreboard has, we've lost power at the scorers table. The scoreboard has gone blank. Now and that's a good feature to have on a scoreboard. If you lose power, it comes back and remembers what the score is and how many fouls everybody had and how much time's left, which is 55.8. Lou Wilkerson to trigger in for the Wildcats on a full court press, gets it into Lamadrick Johnson. Lamadrick is double teamed, gets it over to Boo Wilkerson, fires it to Grayson McClure, comes across the midline. Grayson driving into the corner. They tried to get the ball from behind, and then Grayson drove in toward the bench area and drew the foul on T. Monk Simons. And this will be 2 shots as a 10th foul at least for Jesuit. Free throw good, Grayson McClure. Grayson has 10 points. And McClure free throw got them both. 11 for McClure. 63-50, the Wildcats by 13. Just 44 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. And the ball in the hands of Perryman. Perryman went in, the ball knocked out of his hands, out of bounds. It'll go back to Jesuit. So Perryman will trigger in and gets it into Brown. Brown back toward Perryman. He got up to it. Here's Simons driving in. Gets it over to Steger. Just 27 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Perryman over in the corner, drives in, put up the shot, missed it. Oh, how did that get out of there? Day Hall with the rebound. Long pass down to Grayson McClure. And McClure is fouled by Roy, who is trying to pry that ball loose. Wildcats by 13 with just 14.4 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. Grayson McClure shooting free throws. He's been 2 for 2 tonight just a second ago and got this one. Grayson with 12. He's had 3 threes tonight, 1 in each quarter. Of course, we mentioned that unbelievable game against Ennis where he had 10 threes in that Forney tournament. And McClure makes his free throws and now has 13 points. 65-50, here's Perryman with a long three, off, no good. Big rebound back to Perryman, drives in, gets the layup, they kind of let him go on that one. And just 3 seconds left down to Day Hall. And Day will just run out the clock. And the Wildcats beat Jesuit by the score of 65-52 here at the main gym at Sulphur Springs High School. Boy, a big fourth quarter for Jesuit with 23 points. But the Wildcats had 19, and they had that big 17-point lead after 3 quarters, so they could allow to be outscored by 4 points. But the game did tighten up during that fourth quarter, but the Wildcats kind of added on some extra points there as Jesuit was trying to foul, and the Wildcats were making their foul shots. So the Wildcats win this one by the score of 65-52. And the Wildcats now 12-5 for the season. Jesuit goes to 4-8. Be a while before the Wildcats play again, as they will, after the Christmas break, and after Christmas they will be in the Whataburger tournament in Mansfield. And I think the first team they play is called something like Atascocita. And I'll tell you what, if you want to know how to spell it, find the Texas Association of Basketball Coaches and look under 6A ranked, and you'll find them very high. They may be as high as number 4 or something. Anyway, that will be a great test for the Wildcats coming up in that Whataburger tournament after Christmas. That'll start on, I think, 26, 27, and 28, I think. Anyway, whatever of that week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, whatever those dates might be. But that'll be next for the Wildcats. Let's take a break here. We'll come back and add up all the scoring and tell you who scored what in this one. And we'll be back with that right after this break. Wildcats 65, Dallas Jesuit 52. And let's start with the Jesuit scoring. And Darrell Brown, a big part of the Jesuit offense all night long, and he's their top scorer tonight with 19 points. He came out the gate strong with 9 and had 13 at the half. Ends with 19, tops for Jesuit. Perryman, after not scoring, Gavin Perryman, after not scoring in the first half, had 12 second half points, so 12 points for Gavin Perryman. After that, 7 points for Camden Roy, and he got all of those in the fourth quarter, I do believe. T. Monk Simons had 7 points. He had 5 big ones in the fourth quarter there. 5 points for Eli Steger, had a 3 in the third quarter. And 2 points for Cal Lynn. That was way back in the first quarter. So that all adds up to 52 for Jesuit. They had 13, then they had 6, 10, and then they had that big fourth quarter where they scored 23 points to get up to 52. For the Wildcats, they had 4 players in double figures. They were led by Cameron Kahn, who had 21 points. Cameron seemed to benefit a lot when they would break the press and they would find him. He seemed to be the open guy a lot, and also made quite a few free throws. Looked like he hit 5 free throws in the game. 21 points for Cameron Kahn. Next for the Wildcats, 13 for Grayson McClure, and again he hit 4 free throws in that fourth quarter, but 13 for Grayson McClure. 12 for Day Hall. And 10 points for Lamadrick Johnson. He had a very, very nice game. Lamadrick from the point guard position. Hit a 3, hit 2 for 2 free throwing, and had that buzzer beater 3 that was just huge at the end of the third quarter. Kind of packed on that lead there. So 10 for Lamadrick, and then after that, 4 points for Justin Hare, 3 points Boo Wilkerson, and 2 points for Justin Brock. The Wildcats 17 and 13, then 16, then 19, for a total of 65. So 65-52. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up here for this non-district game, as the Wildcats started swooning a little bit in the fourth quarter, but they had that big lead of 17 to kind of pad the way, but it seemed like the lead got down to 7 maybe or something. Anyway, it was Jesuit was creeping up closer and closer, but the Wildcats just hung in there. and able to get the win on a few days before Christmas here. And so it's Christmas break time. All the students left today, and I would imagine, I think we start getting into these mandated UIL days off where the teams can't even practice. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up here. So let's just go ahead and do that right now. James Terry back at the station running all the spots for us. Doug Haston did the engineering. He's certainly not responsible for the cutting out. I think I had done something to the headphones, whatever, since we've been talking about it a lot. It's kind of ceased to be a problem. So Doug with a good job on the engineering and the camera work that you'll see either on YouTube or on Channel 18 if you're local. Get to see it on our cable access channel that goes to mostly to the folks of Sulphur Springs. And I'm Don Julian with your play-by-play. Once again, our final score here in this non-district game on this 20th day of December 2019. The WildCats of Sulphur Springs 65 and Dallas Jesuit, the Rangers, 52. And as always, we're so glad you joined us this evening, and so long, everybody.
Thank you, Don. You've been listening to Wildcat and Lady Cat, actually Wildcat basketball here on KSST 1230 AM Sulphur Springs. Back to Good Time Oldies after this message from our sponsors from UIL.